Hello, and welcome to this Summer School episode. As you may know, our Summer School series consists of video clips from online courses offered by the IMF. This episode provides an overview of the IMF online course Debt Management, Debt Reporting, and Investor Relations, or DMIR. So what is this course about? As a debt manager, have you ever wondered how best to lower borrowing costs, broaden access to financing, and achieve the best value for government debt? Or how to best inform the public and investors about your country's creditworthiness? These are exactly the questions that the course answers in its 5 modules. You will learn sound practices for debt reporting and investor relations that facilitate achieving debt management objectives and improve public debt transparency. You will also analyze debt data and derive cost and risk indicators for debt portfolios, learn how to produce a debt bulletin and an investor relations presentation. This course delves into day-to-day situations as well, such as meeting investors or credit rating agency officials who want more information on the country's macroeconomic situations or fiscal indicators, the government debt profile, and future debt management strategy. I hope this video will provide you with a good preview of the course and that you will join us for the full learning experience. Register for free at the link available in the video description. And last but not least, I would like to thank the multi-donor trust fund called the Debt Management Facility. The development of this course would not have been possible without it.
Public debt management is the process of establishing and executing a strategy for managing the government's debt. The objective for public debt management is to raise the required amount of financing at the lowest possible cost over the medium to long run, consistent with a prudent degree of risk. But what is public debt? Public debt is what a country owes in local and foreign currency to both private sector lenders, such as banks, insurance companies, and pension funds, as well as to official lenders, including multilateral institutions like the World Bank and IMF, and bilaterally to other individual countries. Public debt management should cover the main financial obligations which the central government controls. These typically include both marketable and non-marketable debt, such as concessional financing obtained from bilateral and multilateral official sources, and in some cases, retail debt. Whether the broader public sector debt is included or excluded from the central government's mandate over debt management will vary from country to country, depending on the nature of political and institutional frameworks. In addition, the central government should monitor and review potential exposures from guaranteeing the debts of subcentral governments and state-owned enterprises, or SOEs, and whenever possible, be aware of the overall financial position of public and private sector borrowers. Public debt management does not operate in a vacuum. It's anchored in sound macroeconomic and financial sector policies to ensure that the level and rate of growth of public debt are sustainable. Public debt problems are often the result of weak macroeconomic management. A good track record of implementing sound macro policies can help to reduce the cost of borrowing. Prudent debt management, fiscal and monetary policies can reinforce one another in helping to lower the cost of borrowing and lengthening maturity. Debt managers, fiscal and monetary authorities, and financial sector regulators all need to coordinate effectively, and their objectives should reflect the interconnections and interdependencies between their respective policy areas. Now you know what public debt management is and the meaning of public debt.
The basic principles for sovereign investor relations, or IR, focus on the government providing information and helping people understand its policies and actions. The concepts of transparency and openness focus on the publication of information and how the authorities communicate with external parties. The themes of predictability and consistency set out how a government should act in order for stakeholders to develop an expectation of future behavior. In other words, it is important for stakeholders to develop an understanding of and anticipate how the Debt Management Office, or DMO, might react to external events. An effective IR strategy is built upon a two-way dialogue between the authorities and stakeholders. Given the focus on communication, the principles of IR reflect the importance of an interactive conversation. A DMO can be highly transparent and have a well-maintained website, publish a funding strategy, annual borrowing plan, and various bulletins, reports, and data. But without a two-way dialogue, this is like one-way traffic. To optimize IR, debt managers need to be proactive. More active engagement can be conducted through investor meetings and consultation sessions, where the DMO asks market participants for their views on various subjects, for example, their current risk appetite, types of bonds they wish to buy in the future, for example, instruments and tenors. Seeking feedback via consultation will help debt managers refine strategy and should help bring them closer to funding sources. In this respect, the flow of information should be maintained even when news is negative. The release of data and information that shows that the government is in difficulty, such as after unusual or unexpected news, may increase volatility in borrowing costs. However, an interruption in the flow of data can undermine trust in the government and the credibility of the debt management strategy. People may question whether the authorities have a plan to respond to these developments. The impact of negative news may be lessened if an honest explanation is provided and corrective measures announced. Underpinning transparency and openness are the conventions of consistency, predictability, and accuracy. When communicating with stakeholders, one needs to be consistent in responding to market events. One should be predictable, and information published should be accurate and timely. In general, debt managers need to be viewed as a reliable counterparty by their creditors, investors, and credit rating agencies. DMOs should publish accurate information on a timely basis to help investors make investment decisions.
The overarching goal of the investor presentation is to tell a factual and a compelling story to investors. Here are 6 elements of effective storytelling in this context. Start with the context. Begin the presentation by providing a snapshot of the current economic and fiscal landscape. This sets the tone and offers a backdrop against which other data can be understood. Highlight strengths. Emphasize areas where the country shines, be it growth rates, inflation rates, fiscal discipline, financial stability, foreign direct investment, level of international reserves, sovereign credit rating, exchange rate stability, etc. Address vulnerabilities transparently. Every nation has areas of vulnerability. Address these head-on, making sure to communicate the strategies in place to manage or mitigate these risks, for example, through existing financial buffers or alternative sources of funding. Use graphics and visuals. Visual aids like charts, graphs, and infographics can simplify complex data, making it more digestible and memorable. Provide clear narratives. Instead of just presenting figures, connect the dots. Explain what certain data points mean in terms of trends, challenges, and achievements. Close with future prospects. End on a forward-looking note, showcasing the plans in place and what investors can expect in the upcoming years.